starting to hit their straps. This was the only game where I tipped the away side in this round, Dean, and I'm going to tip Boronia in this one. But I think Park Orchards will give them a real good run for their money at Domini this afternoon.
Certainly strikes us as an interesting game as we move on to Heathmont taking on Warrandyte. Speaking of sides that are flying, the Jets are doing just that at the moment. And yeah, H.E. Parker Reserve, they're quite a difficult side to beat.
I think you're looking at the fact that Heathmont are going to be, again, they'll go deep into the competition. Warrandyte, they're going to have their wins along the way, but I don't think today will be one of them.
Yeah, they had a surprise result for me last week, Warrandyte. I didn't expect them to get the win last week, but kudos to them. They, like you said, they've got to win sometime and somehow, and they got their win last week. But I just think at the moment, Heathmont are just playing too well. They're in this competition, and they seem to have most sides measure at this stage of the season. So Heathmont for mine, especially at H.E. Parker.
Yeah, I'm going for Heathmont as well. Look, as you said, Brest, Warrandyte had a good win. It was actually 2 weeks ago against Park Orchards, at Park Orchards, you know. But no, for me, Heathmont there, as you said, David, they're going to go deep.
The next game is, of course, Ringwood taking on South Belgrave at Jubilee Park. Now, Ringwood, of course, I know Gav Casey's harped on about this a few times when he's been on the air. That they do start seasons slowly, Ringwood, don't they? But they eventually find their groove, and they do end up featuring in the at the pointy end of the season.
Yeah, well, look, yeah, you're right. Ringwood have started slowly again, and they get another chance today to build some momentum. South Belgrave will have been buoyed by their first win of the season last week, especially away from home, on one of the longer road trips that they make throughout the season. But look, I don't think we've seen the best of Ringwood yet. I think they're still working into their season. I still believe there are players yet to come back into this side. And look, I think this afternoon, I think they'll just take another little step into evening the ledger.
Yeah, I think Ringwood at the moment are in that second tier within the third division, but I think they've got the capabilities of moving up. I think South Belgrave are in the third tier of third division, and they might stay there. I think they'll be competitive against those bottom 4 or 5 sides, but I think Ringwood might have a little bit too much class today.
You put that very politely there, Dave, overstating that. But look, an interesting inclusion into that Ringwood side last week was Patrick Bowden. Now,
yes.
Well, I don't know whether that's going to be an ongoing thing, but it's going to be interesting to see whether he lines up again. But maybe, you know, he was out there, they got their first wing, so, but Ringwood will be too good for South Belgrave.
Templestowe taking on the Basin, of course. We just talked about Templestowe before and the number they did on East Burwood last week. I can't see the Dockers losing this one.
No, I think the Dockers have got this one covered. Look, I'm still not over the moon about the Dockers yet. I still want to see them against some of the top liners yet to make a real call on, but I think they'll be too good today.
Well, I'm going the other way. I'm going the Basin. I just think that the Basin, to me, they're the working man's club out there. I know they're playing at the Wharf, but you know, they play some pretty good football from time to time, but just not consistent enough, the Basin. But then on the other hand, as you said, though, I'm not impressed with Templestowe. You know, they've been around the mark the last couple of years. We know that, and I would have thought that this year they would have come out all guns.
They're just
firing.
going, aren't they?
They're just going, Brash. You're right.
They have had an impressive win over Park Orchards, though.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
comfortable win.
Yeah, but then
there.
Warrandyte beat Park Orchards, so how do you read into that?
At the moment, Templestowe are just going, and at the moment, I still think they're misfired. Some of their players are still not settled. They're not settled in. Obviously, Craig DeCourcy taken over. They've been so used to, you know, Rick Irwin's game plan, and you know, and obviously DeCourcy had to come in and change things around to suit what he wants out of that playing group. The Basin. Yep, look, what you see is what you get with the Basin. Hard-nosed side. They'll dig into the trenches. They really rely a lot on Kruger through the midfield. And apparently last week, I believe, only played a quarter and a half. I think he may have got injured. But it just shows you the importance that he is to the club. I just think at home, I just think the Dockers just pack a little bit too much punch for the Basin. But I tell you what, the Basin will go down fighting.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm really interested in is this idea. Rick Irwin, he's not coaching, but he's still there.
Yeah,
Do you
he's the
like
director
that?
of coaching. Every second week he's there.
And I'm just kind of like, not that you want a clean break, but he's put his imprimatur on that club for 4 or 5 years, and now they've got a player who, a young player, ex-player who's coming in, trying to put his own stamp on the club, and you've still got the ex-coach around. And look, I'm not saying Rick would do anything wrong. I'm just not sure whether the players, how you've got the two around there. I don't know how it works. Maybe that does take a bit of time getting used to it.
Well, I spoke to Davo in the off-season, not to Davo, to Rick Irwin in the off-season about this, and he said it was the club's request that he does stick around, because every second week he goes down Gippsland somewhere and helps his old club down there. But no, to me, I agree with Davo. You either cut the bloody leash or you don't.
I just don't like the fact that the old ones. I wouldn't be feeling comfortable as a coach knowing that my predecessors, overseeing what I'm doing. When I'm trying to establish my own game style and as such. But look, football's just one of those games now where it has to be man managed to the micro, and this is where we're heading, gentlemen.
Moving on to the next game in Division 3, it is Churnside Park taking on Scoresby at Kimberley Reserve. This strikes me as could be a very close one.
Yeah, look, I had a look at this one myself, and this was the game I and ahed about really, Dan, because Churnside, I thought the opening 2 or 3 weeks were in really good nick. Last couple of weeks suffered a couple of losses, probably sent them back a little bit. Scoresby, on the other hand, their forms have been a little bit up and down. They struggled against Baronia, but got over the line against the Basin last week. So their form will probably looking for a little bit more consistency. I just think that I think Churnside have turned the corner now, and they play pretty well at Kimberley. But for me, if they want to harbour any further ambition this season, these are the sort of games they've got to win, Davo.
Without a doubt, they've got to win it. I think they will win it. But it wouldn't surprise me if Scoresby got over the line as well. I mean, I think it is a bit of a toss of the coin. I think Churnside should win it.
You're taking a bit each way there, Dave.
I am, yeah. I'm sitting on the fence.
I'm going for Churnside. Look, last week they ran Heathmont to 20 points. They've got to give them a lot of credit. And I can only go on what I saw on with Scoresby the day they played Baronia out there. They were in it for a quarter and a half, but then they were very slow. And I just think that Churnside, to me, their A team is their run, keep the ball moving quick, and I think that on the wide open spaces at Kimberley, Churnside for me.
We're going to go to a quick break here on EFL Game Day. Just updating the scores in the Under-19s game. It is the Eastern Football League 13-9-87, Essendon District 5-4-34. Just ticked over 7 minutes in the final term. This is EFL Game Day.
Up the Mitcham Tigers! Ah, the Burners!
Let's go, Panthers!
What a mark! Let's go, doggies!
Tobin Brothers Funeral, serving all supporters in the Eastern Football League since 1934. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
A new time and a new team, driving you home in 2016. Join a brand new lineup for The Huddle as the gang take a light-hearted look at the Eastern Football League every Friday night, driving you home in 2016. More importantly, the team will reveal the ins and outs of this week's round of matches. For The Huddle as the gang take a light-hearted look at the 4:30 to 6:30 every Friday night. You love it local. EFL.org.au is the place to be online for all the latest on the Eastern Football League. Keep up to date by checking out the latest news and feature articles. Have your say in the EFL poll. Check out all the latest EFL videos, and best of all, you can listen back to any EFL radio program at any time. Head to efl.org.au. The Eastern Football League. Local footy at its best.
Hey man.
Yeah, man.
Hope we win this weekend.
I hope we win too. Because I want to kick some weekend goals at Pancake Parlour after the game.
Because if your AFL team wins, you can go in and get a free sweet pancake with any savoury menu item purchase.
Oh, free pancake. First your team wins and then your belly wins.
It's win-win, man.
Claim your free sweet pancake with any savoury item purchase just by showing your winning team's colours.
Or your team membership.
At any Pancake Parlour this weekend.
Oh, and don't forget, check out Facebook for this week's offer.
Lovely. Stanley.
Program sponsor.
Dave and his mates are flying to the Gold Coast to watch their team play the Suns. Do they B, pay too much for a taxi, C, hope for an airport rail link this century, or D, get a lift from a mate and hope for the best when they fly home?
What about A, for A1 airport parking?
At A1 Airport Parking, get 2 days for $25, 3 days for $34, or get 7 days parking for just $69. And at just 5 minutes from the airport, they'll get you there in time for your flight and pick you up when you get home. Show your footy or sporting club membership anytime you park and get 10% off. A1airportparking.com.au.
Program sponsor.
Real people, real stories.
Whether I'm driving the morning coach service or whether I'm actually doing the transfer from the family home is very rewarding.
It's heavy lifting, it's emotional, it's uplifting, it's rewarding, and it's a vocation. It's not a job, and I love it.
Watch the A Day in the Life video series now at tobinbrothersfunerals.com.au for an insight into the specialised work they do. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating 80 years of service.
Program sponsor.
Join the Eastern Football League media team for full coverage of the 2016 EFL season. From 1 p.m. every Saturday, the team dissect each of the 22 senior matches on the warm-up. The action kicks off from 2 p.m. with the EFL Game Day broadcast bringing fans a full play-by-play call of the game of the round. From 5 p.m. it's back to the studio for the post-match and a full wrap of the day's games. EFL Game Day, 1 to 6 every Saturday afternoon as you love it local.
Welcome back out to Bayswater Oval, a picturesque Bayswater Oval for the big clash today. The 2017 WorkSafe AFL Community Championships between the Eastern Football League and the Essendon District Football League. My name is Ben Warren-Smith. Great job by the gang in the pre-match and the warm-up to this huge clash. It's great to be back out at the local football after a little month's hiatus, but I tell you what a game to come back for, Ray Baird.
Oh, it certainly is. You know, every time we come out here to Bayswater Oval, particularly in finals time, we have this sort of weather. You know, the crowds are a lot bigger, obviously, because it's finals football, but it's always great coming out to here, Davo. And I just mentioned you off air, Davo. It's been a long time since I've seen Bayswater Oval in better condition.
Oh, look, it certainly looks fantastic. I'm just wanting, Ben, just to ask you a question very quickly, mate. From where you've been on a little bit of a break at the moment, could you give me odds on this game? Because I believe you may have been involved in some monetary exchanges over that 4-week period.
Well,
of time.
not only did I get killed on the 72 cent exchange rate in the US, I did pay a little visit to Vegas, and certainly didn't go well, Davo. I can tell you that. But I kept telling Nicole, but they serve you free drinks when you're playing on the tables there. So I'm ordering double rums, and she goes, they're not free if you still lose though. So no, it was great. And you know what? Because of the time difference, there was a couple of times that I got to play, and we'd go out during the day, and then she'd go to bed, and then I'd have a bit of a play of poker, and I was able to listen to a couple of the EFL shows while I was over there as well with the headphones in, because that's what everyone does. So it was it was a great experience, and great to keep in the loop of the EFL footy, and great to be back again today, mate.
Well, it's good to have you back here as well. And I think we were looking at. Are we looking at 4th division?
Yeah, we'll go through 4th division, Davo. And the first game today is Fair Park take on the Whitehorse Pioneers.
Well, I think the Whitehorse Pioneers, again, they're a little bit like Baronia. I think they can't go under the radar anymore. I think they're flying, which is something really good for their club. You know, they are one of those really, I suppose you call them a battling suburban club amongst all the big boys. Playing great footy, got a lot of young kids, and I think they're going to come out with another win today against Fair Park, who put up a good effort against Surrey last week.
Yeah, they've been a bit up and down, Fair Park, though. You know, their season they started off all right, then they lost one. But anyway, look, just talking about Whitehorse Pioneers, you did right. Look, to me, they're one of my favourite teams. I love the way that they play their football down at, I'm going to rename their ground, down at the Corral, mate, because they deserve it now. So, you know, the way that the Pioneers play their football down there is fantastic. As I've heard you say many a time, Dave, very hard ground to play on. But, look, they're flying today, and they'll get the points without a doubt.
Well, the game's not a night game either, so Fair Park can't win this one, because they're the night game specialists, aren't they?
Okay, well the next game we go on to is Glen Waverley Hawks are at home at Central Reserves against Forest Hill. Davo, we saw Forest Hill last week. What are your opinion?
Yeah, well, they didn't play well, and I suppose we can look at they played a good opposition. They played in conditions that weren't conducive to great football. I just wasn't impressed with the way they went about it, to be honest with you, and I see this as a danger game for Forest Hill. Glen Waverley, they haven't been in the sort of form that they were in last year. They've been a bit up and down, so you would expect them to come out and really fire. Probably Forest Hill, if you look at their list, should be good enough to get over the line, but I think it's a bit of a danger game. I'm still going to tip Forest Hill, but it is certainly a danger game for mine.
Well, I'm going to pick the Hawks. I just think, as you said, they haven't really done anything to impress me yet, but I know that back on that big wide open spaces, you know, I'm like you. What I saw last week against Forest Hill, and I've said this on air since, I just believe that they've missed the tram, mate, as far as premierships go. They've played in grand finals, they've played in extra time grand finals in the last 4 or 5 so years, but to me now, they've got to start rebuilding again. There's a couple of forwards in that side, and I won't mention them, but they definitely don't work hard enough to keep the ball in, and I'm going for Glen Waverley Hawks.
Yeah, it's I understand what you're saying there, Ray, but at the end of the day, I look at last week's game, although we talk about how ordinary you believe that both of you that Forest Hill were, but they've only lost by 3 goals to the top side in the competition. So are you both saying that it was a scrappy game last week and Coldstream weren't also that impressive as well? Because given the fact that Glen Waverley have lost to Sylvan last week, by 5 goals, mind you, a bit over, and that's Sylvan's first win for the year, to me it's confusing how you could really think Glen Waverley are a big chance today.
Oh, look, I'll be honest, I didn't think Coldstream were fantastic either last week. They were okay, and they played some good football when they needed, and they got some great kids, and they really relied very heavily on their experience, and their experienced players got them over the line when they needed to. I looked at both sides and went, you know what, has the division dropped a little bit with its standard, because neither of those sides were anything like the sides that were in the top 4 last year, to be honest.
And they're the sides that people are touting as playing off in a grand final potentially as well.
Definitely, and people forget, look, Forest Hill, they lost a lot of good footballers who, to the everyday punter, may have not been recognised, but to the club themselves, you know, to lose a Scott McPherson, who is probably should have been in Team of the Year last year, great fullback. You don't replace those players really quickly, and I'm not sure whether bringing in more Roeville seconds players is the answer. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think they're going great guns, and I think that Glen Waverley will enjoy coming back onto a big ground. I think they enjoy the big ground, and I suppose that's the other thing about Forest Hill, is that now they're going to travel. They're going to play on 2 big grounds in 2 weeks. You know, that might have an impact as well, but I'm still tipping them. I think they'll get over the line.
Okay, so I'm the one man out there on
and
the
Hawks. Tell you what, if they get up today, you will make me hear about it.
I've already spoken to Alana this morning about it, mate. I'm on notice there. Don't you worry about that. The next game...
he's on speed. You're on speed dial. He goes, oh, I've got him now, bang.
The next game, Surrey Park are at home to Nuttawading. Surrey Park, you know, they haven't had the starts of the season that I expected anyway, but they've done enough, and they'll beat Nuttawading,
I suppose the big thing about Surrey Park today is the Lindsay Gilby factor. He's playing for them today. He's going to play a number of games with the club when he's not doing VFL coaching. He knows Scotty Hamill pretty well, and he was committed last year but just didn't have the opportunity to run around, so I'm not sure why you'd bring him in for a game against Nuttawading, to be quite honest, but if you can get him at any stage, he brings a bit of a profile, which is fantastic. I agree. I've been really disappointed, and I'm sure Scotty Hamill would be the same, really disappointed with their output at this stage. They did get the win against Fair Park, which they needed to. They will certainly beat Nuttawading. It'll be about how do they beat Nuttawading. Nuttawading have improved. But yeah, they really need to get on their bikes today.
Would Scott be trying different things today against Nuttawading, Davo, that might not have worked in the first month of the year?
No, because I think that's disrespecting your opposition. I don't think you go out and say, "Oh, this is our chance to manipulate things." He'd want to be looking at, well, this is the way we want to play. We haven't been doing it well. We've got to get it right. We've got to get this right. We've got to get our structure right. They've had a lot of injuries. They've had a lot of changes, 3 or 4 changes every week, which hurts them and hurts the continuity. They've lost a couple more young players to injury, so you know they need to lift it up that way.
Yeah, okay, well, we go on to the next game. Coldstream are at home once again, and this time they take on Donvale, who Donvale have done everything right this year. You know, they've played every game away because of their club rooms are being rebuilt and everything like that. But I don't know. I just think Coldstream for mine. I don't know why, Davo, but I think Coldstream will get the points.
I'm going to go Donvale today, and purely because they've brought back Ancona. And two other young boys into their side who are good. Their captain, Tochi or Toach, he's come back. He's come back, and Kona's come back, and another young kid who was the under-19 best and fairest last year is coming to their side. So they're going to have a bit of run and carry from those three, and I think that's necessary at Coldstream. I think they've got the forwards that can really hurt Coldstream, and defensively I think they're quite good as well. I think they might get over the line, but then Coldstream do play their ground incredibly well.
Yeah, look, it's a danger game for Coldstream. There's no doubt. We talked about it on the huddle last night. Donvale been in great form, playing all their games away. We know they're going to come home with a bang. There's no doubt about that. I'll tell you what, just listening to Davo and talking about some of those ins, I'm almost swayed to pick Donvale today. And do you know what? I'm going to go for Donvale by a goal, Raymond.
So that just told me that you listen to everything Davo says, but you don't hear a word I say,
Absolutely spot on.
No, that's right. Well, now we go to the last game of the round where Kilsyth are back at home against Sylvan. And Sylvan, they had a very good win last week against Glen Waverley Hawks up at Sylvan. On the other hand, Kilsyth, they got knocked over by the Pioneers. Paul Newland, he's too smart a coach to let them fall into a lull after their start to the season they've had. And Kilsyth, for mine, will win this game quite easy, Davo.
I think they'll win it, and they need to win it because they need to be continuing to press for that third spot and maybe second spot. They need to be in finals. They need to win these games. I think they'll win it today, but I think Sylvan will get a lot of confidence out of last week.
Absolutely, I totally agree. I think it'll be a lot closer than what people might think out there at Pink's Reserve today. And Kilsyth to just get over the line and do what they need to do, which is put 4 points on the board. But it would be a great story if Sylvan could get on a bit of a roll as well, of course, dropping back a division this year, and we want to see them get as many wins on the board and crowds out to see their games. It's deep into the final term out here in the under-19's Interleague game between the EFL and the Essendon Districts Football League, and the Essendon side have actually closed the margin quite considerably, but the EFL still lead at 87-65. We've gone 22 minutes in the final term, so there can't be too long left, so it looks like it's going to be a victory to the Eastern Football League, but you never know, they might be able to pile some goals on the Essendon side.
And just before we go to a break, we must mention the netball last night. Our very own Alana Coleman was coaching the under-19 side, and they both teams were playing against the Northern Netball League, and Alana's side went down, I believe, by 4 goals in a very close game, and in the main game, the Northern Football League beat the Eastern Football League by 5 goals. So 2 very close games. I spoke to Alana this morning. She did say that she was very happy with the young girls. They were thrown together, the first time in, and at one stage they were 12 goals down in the third quarter. So just to lose by 4, she was very happy with the way they come back. And look, all credit goes to those girls. All credit goes to Ellie as well. You know, she's organised this netball league. It's grown in leaps and bounds over the last 2 years, and next year it'll be bigger and better, no doubt, the Interleague for the girls as well. We might go to a break now, guys.
Yeah, you're doing a magnificent job hosting, Ray. We might have to throw you in this seat more often. A great coast-to-coast goal by the Eastern Football League stretches their lead out now. They're 14-9-93 to the Essendon Districts Football League, who are 10-5-65. Let's have a break here on EFL Game Day. When we come back, we're going to introduce a special panel member from the Essendon Districts Football League today who's going to ride shotgun with Brett Davidson in the special comments chair today, right here on 98.1 Radio.
I've got some weekend goals. First, wake up around lunchtime. Second, go into Pancake Parlour and get one of their traditional breakfasts because it's served till 5 p.m. every day.
You gotta go to Pancake Parlour for your weekend goals. Yeah, what else?
And then when I'm all full,
look in your belly.
Just sit on the couch and watch me team kick some winning goals.
Bang, goal! Oh, Pancake Parlour's weekend goals. Up and about and lovely.
Program sponsor.
A new time and a new team, driving you home in 2016. Join a brand new lineup for The Huddle as the gang take a light-hearted look at the Eastern Football League every Friday night. More importantly, the team will reveal the ins and outs for this week's round of matches. The Huddle, 4:30 to 6:30 every Friday evening as you love it local. Nothing better than a companion to keep you up to date with all the latest when you're at the footy. Better still, one that fits in your back pocket. The Eastern Footballer is a must-read. All the latest information, team lists, feature articles and much, much more. Pick up your copy this weekend as you love it local across the Eastern Football League.
जिंदगी से लुत्फअंदोज होते हुए
Świętować życie.
Го прославуваме животот.
Celebrating lives. Tobin Brothers Funerals speaks your language. At Tobin Brothers Funerals, they attend to every religion and culture and can speak 28 languages.
Celebrate la vie.
庆祝生命。
Your tazuntas tizuyi.